Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, as we welcome you to the Season 2, Race Number 2 of the White Knuckle Racing League and the Xfinity Series, where we have high-banking mile-and-a-half action at the historic Atlanta Motor Speedway. A different challenge awaits for tonight's competitors, where we shall see unique twists and turns along the way during this 72-lap adventure. Who is going to take the checker flag and solidify themselves as a mainstay of not just the series, but this league altogether? Only time will tell when the first hot rod crosses the finish line on the final lap of the Echo Park 125 at Hotlanta. I'm Tim Wells, a.k.a. Turtle Wells 73, and I'll be your voice of tonight's action here in Atlanta, Georgia. It's a beautiful sunny day here at the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway, and of course, I'm happy to report there's a 0% chance of showers in the area throughout today's race. Should be action-packed from start to finish, and I welcome in my broadcasting partner, Matt Montgomery, a.k.a. Coach Matt. And Matt, this is a track that will bring many different challenges than it did a week ago in Daytona. You have fuel mileage, tire wear, consistent laps when the field spreads out. But Matt, what's it going to come down to when the white flag flies?
It's going to come down to a lot of things. I think if we can get more green flag runs we did last week, it's going to come down to not only who can find speed in their car, but who can conserve. I think tire management is going to be key. When to pit, when to push, when to save. I mean, there's so much that goes into this track, and you're really going to have to try and outsmart your competitors to be on top at the end of this one.
100%. Matt, I had a few questions for you, but the first one, we had some movement this past week as we've had some drivers move up into Cup, back down to Xfinity, and replacement drivers appeared throughout the week already. But what challenges does team chemistry come into play for today's race?
Team chemistry is huge. You definitely want to have guys that you can, bounce questions off of, that you can race cleanly around, that you can trust in certain situations. And so if the team's constantly switching up and it's a revolving door, it does make it difficult to build chemistry. I think you want to get with a group of guys that you practice with week in and week out, you race with week in and week out. So I think chemistry is huge. So if it's a new face, new driver, you got to make sure you welcome them, make sure, that they feel welcome, and you guys got to get on the same page, you got to get on the same page quick, figure out, their strengths, their weaknesses, and really work together to build that up.
Especially when you're a new guy coming in, maybe you were in trucks last week, or maybe you weren't, or in the development series, all of a sudden you might be racing Xfinity tonight. In terms of, situations like that, is there, I guess I should put in perspective from your position. I mean, as far as like the practice you put in, like in Cup or Xfinity, like how much time do you think it takes to really get acclimated with the guys?
It takes quite a bit, but I think the main thing that I look at is if you're moving up from, development trucks to team trucks, if you're moving from trucks to Xfinity to Cup, make sure that you're not so focused on trying to prove yourself and prove that you belong, that you're making mistakes, or that you're, running the other guys and racing out of control. I think it's important to stay calm, stay relaxed, be patient, and kind of figure things out on the fly, especially if you don't have a ton of time in between you being moved up and then, maybe like the race is like the next day, or maybe you're in the case of Respect to Clout, where I reach out to him like 5 minutes after the development race, hey, how's the 24 truck sound? And he's racing 10 minutes later, with a whole different, scenario, and where he's in a team chat, and he's racing against completely different guys. So it's important. I mean, you just got to be able to, adjust on the fly and not be too eager to prove yourself to where you ruin your reputation, because reputation is real important in this league, because, if you get known, all it takes is one race and people think, he's, he can't hold a line, or he's a dirty driver, and they may be less willing to work with you in the future. So.
That's a good point. But, Matt, I know Atlanta for you personally is a favorite and one you take great pride in when it comes to producing results. In your eyes, what's it going to take to get it done today, you think?
Well, with Atlanta, I know track position is huge. Tire conservation is huge, which is honestly one of the things that I struggle with. So when it comes to this track, it does feel a little different, I think, than Heat 4. In Heat 5, I feel it's a little bit tighter, a little bit easier to get the handle in the car. But the tire issue is still there. I mean, this track is notorious when it comes to burning off tires, and so you want to make sure the tires can last the full fuel run, but at the same time, you don't want to lay off and save not too much to where you're falling off the pace. So it's really one of the things where it's like you go in with a plan in your head, but don't be stubborn and try and stick to that. if you see people doing things that are working, maybe try and feed off what they're doing. I know we could be looking at, I think, at least in these first two stages, there could be opportunities to save and not have to pit at all. There also could be some short pitting opportunities. So I know there's a lot of different scenarios just with the length and the tire wear and just how everything plays out. A lot of different scenarios can take place in the first two stages. Third stage is really it's going to be really tough to see if you can get 2 pit stops instead of 3, because obviously the less time you spend on pit road the better. So it's really going to be a game of chess and not checkers tonight. And as excited as I am about this track for tomorrow for the Cup guys, as much as I love this track, I mean, I'm going to go in and explore a bunch of different scenarios because, I mean, there's no telling what's going to happen. All it takes is one caution to throw things off. So it'll definitely be an exciting race tonight.
All right. And Matt, will teammates be as vital as it was in Daytona, or do you think it's going to become more of an individual concern as we, get further throughout the race and the season?
I mean, teammates are always important. I think tracks like Daytona and Talladega are obviously teammates are going to be the main focus there. At Atlanta, I do think it's a little bit more of an individual thing, but I mean, like I said, the teammates that you have a party with, I mean, they could help with adjustments. They could help with kind of scout in the field a little bit. If you're running back in like 5th or 6th, hey, what's the leader doing? Is he pulling away? I'm this far away from you. How far away? Just a bunch of little things you can get. You can feed off information, things like that. But you know when you need to get let back in line. I know if you get stuck on the outside here in Atlanta, you can hold on a little bit, but if that bottom line's got the draft going, you're going to fall back pretty quickly. So I mean, just getting a little bit extra room for your teammate, somebody that you can draft with, work with. Not as vital as Daytona, but still very important.
Right on. And Matt, we just got the qualifying results for the top 5. So for tonight's race in the Xfinity Series, starting first is Citrus. Starting second is Sporty Morty 888. Starting third is Nimco Wood. Fourth is Ski Mask. And fifth is T-Berg. So pretty solid top 5. Starting off, we have our last week's winner returning to Atlanta on the pole. Any thoughts on, are you surprised at all? I mean, that's your guy, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I knew when I was going through and I was drafting guys for Xfinity, he was one of them on the board. I'm surprised he fell to me in the second round. I mean, the kid's got talent. He's fast. And so the main thing I want to see from him is, can he take that qualifying speed and still find a way to save enough tire to make it to where you're using up enough tire to make the whole fuel run. I think that's going to be important. But the fact that he's showing speed, I think, is really good. So.
And the difference between 1 and 2 was not too far. Looks like Citrus on Twitch qualified with the 29.450, and Sporty Morty qualifying with the 29.478. So that's pretty solid lap times, all things considering an Xfinity card. Yeah, they're Xfinity. The lap times aren't so much different than you see in Cup. So I mean, this top 5, I'm not too shocked by the top 5 results. Although T-Berg on a hot seat. Good to see him. A strong showing early on, getting that top 5 run.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, with him being in a hot seat and qualifying top 5, I think if he's able to have a clean race today and get a solid result, he'll definitely have some eyes on him and have a potential shot at moving up. So.
All right, we're just awaiting our invites before we'll start tonight's race. And Matt, why don't you go ahead and walk us through tonight's Hugger Orange's keys to victory.
All right, well, when it comes to keys to victory, man, tires, and more tires, man. This track burns tires up at a crazy rate, so you got to make sure that you're not pushing the car too hard. I mean, tire management, I think, is going to be key when it comes to winning tonight. I know in the truck race last night it was key. Jimster had a pit one more time than I believe it was me, Shifter, and Shy Cubs, and they wound up finishing 1, 2, and 3. So tires, man, when you come to Atlanta, that's the first thing people think about is just how quickly they burn off. I think you can run 3 or 4 laps, and all of a sudden you look, and hey, on the right side, there's 60%. So tire conservation is going to be key. Strategy as well, and I think that does tie into tire management. You need to know when to pit, especially in the third stage. First stage, everybody knows they're going to pit at least once. Second stage, you might not have to pit at all if you play your cards right. You might be able to conserve. I think they are going to be about a lap and a half short on fuel. So make sure the tires last, make sure you save enough fuel to make it there. And then that third stage, it's 40 laps. They get about 15 and a half laps of fuel. per tank. So, I mean, we're looking at 2 stops at least, but if they're not careful on tires, it could wind up being 3. And then the third key, I think, is just going to be execution. Like I said, you can have the plan on tires, have a plan on strategy, but same as last week, execution is going to be key. Avoid penalties on pit road, and avoid getting into accidents or anything like that. So, yeah, tires, strategy, execution, there's the keys.
All right, and that's Matt with tonight's Hugger Orange's keys to victory. Matt, I'll ask you one last question before we get going. The Daytona is a tough track to completely judge talent, especially when we had a league high 7 cautions last Wednesday in Xfinity. But what drivers have stuck out in your opinion so far after the first couple weeks in all series?
In all series, I think. Well, I mean, obviously, Respect to Clout stuck out since I reached out and signed him. So obviously he stuck out to me a little bit. He's shown some talent. Meesby going back to back, I think has been real impressive. And really, I mean, with it being Daytona, like you said, it's really kind of tough to judge talent. So I think this week is going to be where we start to see.
All right, and Matt, sorry to interrupt you, but it's time to join. So we're going to take a brief second here to join, and we'll see you at the green flag. All right, the quest for an early season win took place a week ago. Now the quest for a championship truly begins as we take the green flag here at the Echo Park 125 at Atlanta. Citrus on Twitch leads the charge coming out of turn number 2. And as you can see already, pack racing, the draft does not matter as much as it did in Heat 4, but it's still going to play a factor, especially early on. Citrus continues to lead coming off turn 4, going to lead the first lap, followed by the 10 of Sporty Morty and the 21 of Nimco Wood. Got Junior Motorsports, RCR, as Sporty gets a little bobble, slides to the high side. He might be getting freight trained there, Matt.
Yeah, it looks like he definitely got stuck there on the outside, but the leader does pop to the outside too, trying to see if he's maybe trying to break the draft. 21-6's nose down in there. Might have, 9 regains the spot. So I think what we're going to see in these first, 2 or 3 laps, these guys are going to kind of stay in the draft and stay behind one another. But once these tires start to wear off a little bit, we're going to see, who can hold a better line, who can get a better, corner entry, corner exit. And these guys are really going to start to spread out and we'll start seeing moves being made.
And stage number 1 consists of 19 laps. Your tire wear can go anywhere from 14 to 16 laps, depending on how hard you race those tires, and fuel can last about 16 laps as well. So strategy will come to play. We'll see what strategies we see in stage 1, whether you short pit or you long pit, see who can come out front here in stage number 1. And it looks like there's a challenge for the lead as Nimco Wood tries to take the lead away from Citrus going into turn number 1.
Yeah, looks like he's got it. Yeah, he's got his nose underneath him. The 9 cars move to the outside, and I think the 54 of Masopes is going to go with him.
And a little help from Masopes in the 54, followed by more drivers on the inside line. Citrus so far has been able to hold on a little bit. If he can slide down, and he will, for a split second. The 19 coming inside as well, and if he can get that run, he can maintain position. But a new leader in Nimco Wood. And we see Sporty Morty starting second. It's fallen all the way back to about the 9th position. He gets stuck on the outside. That's what's going to happen. So we take a look at Nimco. 2187 now with the lead. 5 laps in to the Echo Park 125 at Atlanta. So far the first group is pretty tight racing, about 7-8 cars. And Nimco enjoying that lead, followed by the 54 of Masopes and the 19 of our podcaster Ski Mask Leezy. But he gets to shuffle on the outside as well, as we have a new guy coming in, and that's your guy, Matt. Don't Want None, getting into the mix there with the leaders.
Yeah, actually, right before I hopped in here, I was getting some laps in with Don't Want None. Just we're testing some different things, working on some different strategies, and he's gonna be one of the guys I have my eyes on tonight. Not trying to be biased, but man, he was definitely showed some strength here.
As it stands right now, it goes RCR, Gibbs, Hendrick, and Hendrick, and your top four. And T-Berg, starting fifth, is currently in the fifth position on the hot seat. Moved up from trucks, getting the opportunity to see if he can stay. And that fifth qualifying position is going to put him in a great position to stay in this series, but a good finish is going to help that case as well. As Nimco continues to lead early on, we're about halfway through our fuel run before we'll start seeing some pitting, as we see a car already on pit road, and that's
Muscle cars coming up pit road. Looks like he's definitely going with the short pit option. I thought for a second there he just might have lost it and got stuck in the apron, but I think that was definitely planned. He's wanting to bring it down, short pit, and get going.
You know, Matt, I mean, there's so many different strategies that can work out. One that I personally like to work, especially when a stage is at 19 laps and the fuel run's pretty long at 16, is to make your tires and fuel last as long as possible. Take those 2 tires and maybe a can of fuel, because you're not going to have enough time to really get back up there, but we'll see how it balances out here in the rest of the way of stage number 1 as Nimco continues to lead. Oh, and a crash!
The 11 gets caught in the apron, spins, and collects quite a few cars. So I think that fuel strategy might have just gone out the window if the caution flies, but it looks like we're still green.
It looks like we're still green at the moment. And that was Wally 14 involved. He needs to get back up to speed. You don't want to go lap down in these races.
Definitely not. If I'm in his situation, I'm pitting right here just to avoid getting back up to speed and then slowing back down and get on pit road. I'd go ahead and pit now, get that out of the way, and do whatever I could to stay on the lead lap.
And you got to imagine the damage caused from that. It's going to, I mean, even more time on pit road, but staying out is going to cost you more time. So I think that's a good call. See if he adjusts his strategies. Schmiller looks like he was also involved in some front end damage there. That number 20 Joe Gibbs machine. We take it back up to the front now. 21-54, the 1 car and the 9 of Citrus still all up front in those top 4 positions. In the second pack there of, let's say, T-Berg and Sporty Morty, as well as Ski Mask. And a possible challenge for the lead. The Hendrick guys working their way up top, trying to get that lead away from Nimco Wood. And it looks like Nimco is going to pit as well as the 54. Some early pit stops here for the RCR and Joe Gibbs machines. As we'll see who ends up in the lead after these pit cycles cycle through. But as you mentioned, Matt, it's not just a strategy. Can you do all the easy things right too as far as pit entry? If you can get on smoothly, you can get out smoothly. That's going to pay dividends in the long run as well. And our leaders, Citrus on Twitch gets loose and a wreck coming off turn number 4. Citrus on Twitch spins going into the pits, and looks like he takes out Sporty Morty in the process, and I believe we are still green. So that's going to hurt multiple.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, cars are still going, so that's definitely going to affect him, because if he didn't get on pit road, he's going to have to go all the way back around and pit again. That's a lot of time lost there.
Yeah, that's going to hurt multiple drivers involved in that. And I'm sure the strategy of Sporty Morty has had to shift as well. Looks like he got into the wall pretty hard after getting collected in that. So far, Matt, we've had a couple minor wrecks, but no cautions have been thrown. Probably to the displeasure of the guys involved. But the guys who have been able to avoid the issue so far probably loving the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants to see a green flag run, especially if you're running up front. You want to be able to push your car and see exactly where you stand against the rest of the guys in the field. But for those that are getting involved in these incidents, especially if they're getting caught up in stuff that might not be their fault, definitely winds up being really frustrating because you're stuck playing catch up the whole stage and really hoping you don't go a lap down.
Yep, and 7 to go at the line. You guys have not pitted yet. And we'll see who cycles out into the lead. And we take a look at our leaders from beforehand of Nimco Wood. And it looks like the 54 was able to get out in front of 21 as the 1 of Don't Want None makes a move going to turn number 3 on the 21 of Nimco.
And so he secures second spot. The 54 with Stokes is one of the guys I had my eyes on during the preseason. He was really clean. I know a lot of the captains when we were in there racing with the truck guys, the Xfinity guys, we were doing what we could to put him in uncomfortable situations. I think I put my Stokes in a 3-wide spot for about 3 or 4 laps. He held his own, and that really impressed me, being able to hold his line. And he's showing exactly why. I think it was Debla that reached out and drafted him for the Xfinity cars. He's showing that he's more than deserving of that pick.
And the Soaps ran strongly in week number 1 at Daytona, and there could be a caution out. It looks like there is a caution.
Either the caution or the stage, I'm not sure.
All right, trying to get word. I just got word that Sporty Morty had lost connection a couple laps ago.
Oh, that is unfortunate, especially with that second starting spot. You knew he had a strong car.
And yeah, you're right, Matt. That is the end of the stage as we await results. But what'd you notice there in that first stage?
Well, I noticed that it's going to be really, really important to stay out of trouble, avoid incidents, because unless it's a big crash, we're not going to get any flags. Looks like Rich Gang actually won the stage, followed by the Soaps and Don't Want None, Nimco Wood, and then I'm not sure who was fifth.
And it looks like we have some hiccups already on the start. A lot of guys getting jumbled up, and the leaders trying to pull away now. As we see the Soaps now all the way down on the apron.
And A-car's down there as well.
And 78 in the wall. 78 in the wall.
Contact with 6.
Okay. Yep, contact with Dallas Stars, and that brings out a caution early on in stage number 2. Stage number 2 only consists of 17 laps, so we'll see. Matt, if you're driving this race right now, do you pit now? I'm sure everyone's probably going to pit anyway, but you might be able to make it from here on out.
You could definitely make it from here, but I'm definitely pitting. Anytime there's a caution, so long as I'm going to lose a ton of spots doing it, I want to pit. I want fresh tires, man. These tires fall off so fast. So we're talking like 1/10 to 2/10 per lap until it finally flattens out right around the 30-second line. But you're running 29.4s on fresh tires. That's a huge difference if guys decide to stay out. So definitely one to pit here.
Yeah, and interesting thing that's happening right now, because of Rich Gang was still out, he had lapped the entire field. So as of right now, everyone went a lap down. Now that we have a caution, there'll be 2 or 3 drivers on the lead lap now. But interesting start to this race nonetheless. But the top 10 of that first stage, you had mentioned Rich Gang, but Soaps, Don't Want None, Nimco, and Muscle Cars, followed by T-Bird, Y'all Ain't Ready, Racing, Dallas Stars, Caps, and Bendover, and the 10th spot. So we resume, and stage number 2. 3-wide racing, a lot of guys are making moves. A lot of guys in the wall, too, not giving anyone any room. It's all track position from here on out.
Yeah, I think the 36 to the 11 might not be getting too friendly right now. They definitely made contact there on the backstretch. And I think it's finally calmed down here just a little bit.
Yeah, and
we haven't mentioned yet, last season's Xfinity champion, L77 Caps. He has worked his way up into the top 5, moving, and look at him moving to try to take the 4th spot. He was in the back most of that first stage, so he's definitely trying to make his presence known here on stage 2.
Absolutely able to race his way and get some stage points. He was competitive last week, had some issues late in the race trying to make moves, but as of right now, it's starting to spread out a little more. The 7 and the 11 starting to separate themselves from the rest of the field, from T-Berg, who is sitting in the 3rd spot driving that 36 machine for Roush Racing. 11 car trying to be patient, but gets in the apron. He's going to lose a little bit of time here. 36 has a chance to make a move, and he's going to go on the outside. Let's see if he can clear him going into turn number 1. And the 11 puts the 36 right in the wall. Interesting. I don't know, man.
36 trying to save it. Like I said, the 11 made contact with the 36 not too long ago, so I'm not sure if they've got some kind of animosity going on towards each other or what's taking place there, but
either way, you hate to see it. We didn't see the prior incident But the 11 car is showing no mercy there, putting the 36 right into the wall. A driver who's in a hot seat position can't be too thrilled with the 11 of Wally 14. And probably even more awkward that the camera was directly on the 11 when that happened.
Yep, he's been caught. So whether that was intentional, they just got loose racing hard, we don't know. We'll have to look into that after the race, make sure they're all good there. But I mean, it doesn't take much to get somebody frustrated with you. I mean, if you stick your nose down there and they think that you didn't have the room, they might decide to throw a block. If you get a little rough with somebody, they might decide to get a little rough back. So there's really no telling what caused that. But looks like we are starting to spread out here a little bit. The 11 tried to make a block with a 9, makes contact with a 9, he gets set up. So yeah, the 11 car definitely be a little bit more aggressive than they probably should be this early on.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm looking at the live chat right now. Car owner Jose Protege for Roush Fenway defending as the guy not too pleased with what took place on the track between the 11 and the 36. As a broadcaster, I'll try to stay objective, but it did not look good from inside the booth.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like it's affected him more than anything because he's lost about 3 spots since then. So,
and I'm sure he got a little bit of damage on that as well. As we go back up to the front of the field, and Matt, I did get word that it appeared to be a glitch when everyone went a lap down. Everyone is now back on the lead lap.
All right, that's good to know. But I would hate to be up here watching one guy on the lead lap that's supposed to be in the lap down. That would not make for exciting racing. So the fact that everybody's back on the lead lap is awesome. So.
And Citrus, who had some issues in that stage number 1, trying to get on pit road, now racing back up front, trying to get the lead away from his teammate Rich Gang Evo 1000. And we know that 9's fast. He's more of an aggressive racer. We'll see if he tries to stay patient here or he wants to take the lead immediately.
Well, if I'm him, and we know this race is going to go green, I would just stick my front bumper on the back bumper of my teammate and just try and get away from. Oh, never mind. It looks like he's trying to make a move. But I try to separate myself away from the rest of the field before getting racy, but it looks like he's trying to take the lead now.
You make a good point, especially. Well, I believe, now that I think about it, Matt, because they don't have to pit, you might as well race at this point. I mean, I know you understand the separation, but you don't have to really worry about guys getting behind you, getting on pit road, because that's no longer an issue. But right now, Rich Gang continues to lead, heading into turn number 3, followed by Citrus. As we look to get a lap update. We'll go back a little farther in the field. Yeah, bunch of cars there. Seaberg back in it, trying to get his spot back, and the 36 is getting close to the 11 again. This could get interesting.
Yeah, it definitely could. I don't know if he's got revenge on the mind, or if he's just trying to get back up there and get around it without any incident. But I mean, they made contact twice. I'm not sure who's at fault, either time. But if I was affected by it, I'd be upset. I'm not sure how upset, but.
And the 11 of Wally 14 unable to make last week's race due to prior commitments with moving, but now making his debut. Strong showing so far, but not without controversy, as he currently sits in the 4th spot. Last year's winner, L77 Caps, chilling there in the top 10.
And looking at the lead, like I said, I mentioned, maybe wanting the 9 and the 7 to link up and try and get away from the field. They get racy. The 21 said, hey, mind if I join? Looks like he's taking the 2nd spot, and he's looking at the lead now.
And 5 laps this time by, as just like you said, the 9 able to retake the lead, and for a split second, the 21 was able to take the 2nd spot away.
Incident. The 54 gets sideways. 99 gets forced down pit road. Not sure what happened there. I think he might have caught the butter.
Yeah, that is tough. That's a tough break. You got to hope they can make it back on the lead lap. I mean, if you get stuck in pit road, you probably just need to take no tires, right?
If I got stuck on pit road, yeah. I know if you take no tires, no gas, no anything, I think you get 3 seconds. But it looks like he's going to go ahead and pit. I guess he's assuming, if it's close to the stage end, hey, I'm going to go a lap down. Might as well get fresh stuff, run it, try to stay only 1 lap down and just stay out and get my lap back. I think we've also lost the 70. We can cycle through here. The 78 muscle cars seems to have lied down as well. Oh, the 19 and the 18 are coming down pit road. I wonder if these guys can't make it. I wonder if they 92's down pit road.
That's very possible. Track position, of course, is key. And a couple of guys didn't pit. They're going to have to.
Oh, the 36. Wow. I wonder if, they were all a lap down. They stayed out. The 7 pitted. Then now they're stuck pitting, and they might wind up a lap down again.
Yeah, 3 laps to go. 2 to go at the line. And of course, we're still waiting on that NASCAR Heat 5 update to where we can see the ticker and intervals. Pipe dream at this
7
point.
stays out. The 11 and the 21 make their way down pit road. So the 7 might lap the field again.
So Rich Gang saving tires probably has been a strategy since stage 1. And we'll get the official results if it stays this way. But after this lap, there'll be 1 to go.
Yeah, I wonder if Rich Gang's been hanging out with Jose this week. It looks like he's a host saving, and it's working to his advantage.
Host saving.
That's one thing I've never been able to do, man. Is save tires. That's one of the things I've struggled with. Of course, I'm on a computer. I don't have the wheel, the clutch, or anything like that. But that's one of the things that I've struggled to do. But in certain races, in certain situations, it's a good thing to be able to do. I know that's what hurt me at Phoenix. Not only was I struggling with speed in the car, I was struggling with tire wear, and I wasn't able to get the result I wanted.
Well, we'll see. This should be the last lap, and if the 7 can make it here, he will take stage number 2. And Rich Gang winning stage number 1 is going to come out of turn number 4. And if the results hold, he will take stage number 2 as well. So Rich Gang Evo 1000 takes stage number 2, saving all the way through, as many other drivers had to pit. But a great showing so far for HMS and that Brant number 7 machine and that Chevy Camaro.
Okay, so we finally had the results from stage 1. It was Rich Gang, Masopes, Don't Want None, Nimco, and then Muscle Cars. And yeah, Rich Gang at that point had lapped the entire field.
As soon as our commissioner sends us the results of stage number 2, we'll get them to you.
Let's see, McLovin, he is in a party chat right now with my team. He said, looks like he's texting me right now. I told him to keep me updated with the stage. So it looks like the 9 of pictures on Twitch first, Rich Gang Evo second, Bend Over third, the 1 of Don't Want None fourth, and then the 36 of was it T-Bird, I believe? T-Bird?
And the 36.
In fifth, yep. So 9, 7, 8, 1, 36.
So we must have lost track of the 9 there. Interesting. Yeah.
Definitely interesting.
Well, Matt, we talked about how important team chemistry could play a factor. It sounds like these guys have kind of had the same strategy going into this. But with the caution, you have to adjust on the fly. But good calls from the Hendrick gang. So far, so good. As Citrus on Twitch will lead them out on stage number 3. And stage number 3 consists of about roughly 36 laps. So we'll most likely have to pit twice. Unless, of course, you're Jose Protege.
Consists of 40 laps. So we're looking at least 2 pit stops here. Getting about 15 to a tank. So you don't want to mess up and have it stretched to 3. You don't want to push your stuff so much where you have to pit one more time than everybody else. So 40 laps, you get about 15 laps here. So we could be looking at pit stops in lap 15, lap 30, and then run it to the end. So this right here is where it all counts. Any kind of caution will definitely throw some stages. Not stages, but strategy out the window. And guys are going to adjust on the fly. So we will definitely see what takes place here, especially with 3 teammates up front. How nice are they going to be knowing that a race wins potentially in the line?
And especially with Citrus winning last week, I'm sure his Hendrick teammates are trying to get onto that board as well, into the win column. And the 54 gets in the apron a little bit, drives a little hard, but able to maintain position number 4. Some contacts made right behind the 50. Oh, and the caution.
Oh, the 54 to 36.
And the 54 gets in the wall and collects the 8. And the 90 is involved, the TCW, as well as the 89 of Late Valentine. So a big crash coming on off of turn number 4. So more strategy play coming up. So these restarts have been getting crazy. Patience is running out all the way through. And honestly, at this point, guys might be running out of talent just a little bit, trying to secure track position as much as they can.
Yeah, I think the 54 just got loose, tried to save it, overcorrected, got into it with the 36. They both hit the outside wall and collected the field behind them.
And we saw the 54 kind of get into some trouble going into turn number 3, hitting the apron, and I think that caused a chain reaction, even all the way down to near the finish line on the front stretch.
Yeah, he might have got into it again. I don't know what it is with that yellow line, but you hit it once, you hit it 1,000 times, it seems like. So, yeah, definitely one thing you want to avoid, especially on restarts with the field so close.
Potentially some strategy play here as Wally 14 takes the lead during that caution. Some guys probably pit, some others did not, I'm sure. But even after 2 or 3 laps, I mean, that tire wear is pretty crucial. We'll see what his strategy was. I don't believe he pitted, or if anything, only took 2 tires.
Yeah, and if that's the case, I can only see it hurting him here the next few laps. Just as much as these tires fall off, the 9's already all over his back bumper. Looks like the 6 of Dallas Stars is making his presence known, and so all we have to hope here is that he's not throwing in crazy blocks and winds up holding the field too much.
And the 9's going to try to drive down in there.
Gets sent up into the wall. Oh, and he comes down in front of the 92.
And a big pile up coming out of turn 2.
The 20.
The 89 of Blade Valentine once again, but we're still racing, so I don't think anyone really got turned around outside of the 89. As we go back up to the front, Citrus on Twitch really trying to move the 11 car of Wally out of the way, but I mean, we've seen it in previous races in Season 1. If you can hold the bottom, you can hold some guys up. You can make it work even on a little bit more worn tires. It just causes a lot of frustration. And the fact there's no caution, that's going to hurt a lot of guys the rest of the way if there's not another caution.
For sure. You can tell that 11's struggling. He's got 4 cars right behind him. And he's, at this point, I think he's just holding them up. Yep, just forced the 9 to the, or I think the 9 is pushing the issue. Oh, gets to the inside. Can he make it hold?
Yeah, I think he's going to run him up the racetrack right here. That could make room for the 36. Here comes T-Berg.
Yeah, and these guys have had a history past a couple stages. So we'll see if they can play nice here. But yeah, I think the 9, I think just frustration got into play there. The 11 being a little bit slower on old tires, and he decided it was time to go.
If the 11 can hold on to the next cycle of pit stops, I mean, it could have been a decent move. He wasn't in the top 10 and able to get to the first spot. If he can stay in the top 10, I think it's going to help him in the long run as far as stage points are concerned at the end of the race. But that 36 of T-Berg finally back up to the front, starting in the top 5, trying to work his way back up, getting some scuffles, if you will, with certain individuals throughout this race. But Citrus on Twitch has been the dominant force so far. Really, Hendrick altogether has flexed the most muscle.
Yeah, but the 36 being a truck guy in a hot seat, I mean, you can't tell me he is not going to have some eyes on him after this race concludes. I mean, he's raced really, really well, and he's shown that he might have been overlooked in the draft. So, definitely
yeah, absolutely. I can't speak for Jose Protege, but based on this race, whether he wins, finishes top 5, or have some bad luck, I think this is the guy you move forward with in that 36 machine, taking the spot of Jay Harris. He's done a great job so far.
Yeah, because I know with some of the movement that they had a spot available, and I definitely think that he's put his name at the top of the list there. He's done a fantastic job. So,
and it looks like we just got word from the man himself, Jose Protege, that 36 is no longer on the hot seat. He has signed officially earlier this afternoon. So, I mean, he's definitely living up to the hype already.
That's how you do it, man. But I say, when you get the opportunity, you gotta take full advantage of it, and I think he's done exactly that. So I'm really, really proud of him and him moving up, and I think it's well deserved.
And we should be a few laps away from the leaders starting to make their cycles in the pits. As Citrus on Twitch continues to lead, but there's 4 or 5 cars right there licking their chops, waiting for someone to make a mistake. The last thing we want to do is make a mistake going on to pit road. So there's a lot of race left, but so far the 9 car has been the car to beat.
Especially racing this close, man. You definitely don't want to. Depending on how you hit a pit road, you could get loose, you could spin. I think that might have been what happened to the 54 earlier on, where he and I believe it was the 90 of Keith, the 99 of Keith got loose and went on pit road. But pit entry is going to be vital here because you're going to have to pit twice, and it's going to have to be perfect each time if you expect to win this one.
26 laps to go at the line. So far, stage number 3 has been all number 9 was able to move the 11 out of the way and retake the lead, followed by the 36.
The leaders are coming up on lap traffic. The 89 of Vlad Valentin, he had that damage from the incident earlier where the caution did not fly. He's got significant damage on the front end, and so I wonder how the leaders are going to manage getting around him. He's going down to the apron. I believe he's coming down pit road, so really nice to see him get out of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's kind of had some bad luck today. and just didn't want to be an issue for the leaders.
Oh, the 18 spins trying to get down pit road. The 98 might have sped.
Y'all ain't ready. Racing spins so far under green still, and as you mentioned, last year's champion Caps in the 98 machine may have sped. We'll get official word.
Yeah, he came down there pretty quick. Definitely had a steam there, so I wonder if he sped or not. If he did, that's going to be detrimental to his run. But we were just talking about pit entry and how important it is. As the 36 makes a move on the 9 car and takes the lead. Hot seat no more. He says, I'm here to stay.
Absolutely, the 36 of T-Berg taking the lead out in front of Citrus on Twitch. And here comes the 7 and the 1 falling in 3rd and 4th at Nimco Wood in that 21 RCR machine. And 5th, Masopes, you can see him a little bit on the screen in the 6th spot.
Nice to see that he's recovered from earlier incidents.
And Citrus trying to retake that lead. He didn't like it too much. He doesn't like being in 2nd, that's for sure. And 36 slides up ever so slightly. 9's going to get a run here.
Yeah, if I'm the 36, I'm not running that high up the track. You've got to hug the bottom. Looks like the 9's going to get a run, but he is going to be stuck here on the outside. Oh, the 89 comes up into the 36.
And the 89, who had avoided people earlier, the leaders, makes contact with the 36, but the 36 able to keep his momentum and retake the lead.
That was almost bad there, man. Oh, wow.
Oh, it's the Wild Wild West out here. So the leaders still have yet to pit.
That is true. A lot of these guys have already brought themselves down pit road, so it'll be interesting to see what happens here. The 36, like he is signaling, he's going to come down this time by.
He's going to give up a couple positions and should be able to get on pit road smoothly here.
Yeah, make sure it's nice and clean. The 21's going to come with him. Nice pit entry there.
Yeah. Executed to perfection, as now the 9 of Citrus on Twitch currently leads in position number 1, followed by the 7 of Rich Gang. And in 3rd place, the 1 of Don't Want None. So Hendrick 1, 2, 3. And I think we're starting to see, like, Citrus, when he gets out in that clean air by himself, he's able to pull away a little bit from these guys.
Yeah, clean air is important, especially with the draft coming into play. It's really hard to get away from people. So whenever you do get that little bit of a break, that's where you're able to kind of flex your muscle and get some distance on the guys behind you.
And Don't Want None enter the pit road. It looked like he had little issues getting onto pit road. We'll see if he had a speeding penalty. Looked like he was cutting it close. Citrus on Twitch continues to lead. Sporty Morty 888 disconnected, as well as Muscle Cars. And T-Berg 22 already back onto the track, as well as Nimco. And T-Berg's going to be about a second or two ahead of Nimco, so pit entry is vital. It can really separate you.
That is not good. The 9 car is trying to make his way down pit road and gets run off the track by the 20 car into the wall and into the 7 car coming down to the pit road. They're both going to have damage, and that's definitely going to affect their race here.
Wow. Wow, that is absolutely huge. The 7 and the 9 getting the raw end of the deal on that one. And you hope it's not more than a second or two, but it wouldn't shock me one bit if we see a car like maybe the 1 car or the 36 back up in front after this cycle completes. And it's one of those things, Matt, it's not really a mistake on their part. It's just part of racing, an unfortunate incident.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And like I said, pit road, we talked about how crucial it is to get on and off as clean as you possibly can, and it looks like it's definitely going to affect the outcome of this race. The 9 car still on pit road. It's going to get a ton of damage.
And the 7 already back out. And the 8 of Mr. Bendover is actually ahead of his teammate now, of Citrus on Twitch. But at this point, I think Citrus will need a caution. But now the leaders were the last ones to pit. There's still one more pit stop to be made. Anything can happen. A caution can happen at any point. As we cycle back through.
I believe the 54 of Masopes is in the lead right now with the 36 not far behind.
And Masopes must have got on pit road extremely smoothly, taking the lead. He was right there in that lead pack, just slightly behind the top 4. As we try to cycle back through. And Nimco Wood has lost a couple spots after that cycle. But T-Berg 22 pushing for the lead from Masopes with Don't Want None and the 1 And that Pilot Chevy Camaro, and some contact made on that backstretch as T-Berg tries to take the lead going into turn number 3. He's going to have the inside, but he's unable to keep it steady as the 54 is going to be able to clear him coming off turn number 4. But the 1, trying to make something happen on the outside, dives back down low, and these guys know what's on the line. And looks like the 11 of Wally 14 getting those fresh tires has made his way back up to the front as well.
Yeah, I think the 1 and the 11, they might have pitted a couple laps later than these guys. They've got fresh tires, and so the guys on older tires are doing everything they can to just hold on at this point.
And 21 of Nimco Wood, making a case as well, now joins the party. 54 of Masopes currently leads, followed by the 1 of Don't Want None, Wally 14, T-Berg 22, and Nimco, as Nimco tries to go around the 36. Trying to make his way on the inside line. See if he'll be able to clear him coming out of turn number 2 here on the backstretch. And it looks like he's going to be able to clear him. And Matt, the later you stay out, I mean, evidently, you're going to have the fresher tires than everyone else. That's always the strategy.
Whoa, 4 wide.
First place. A huge shuffle for position. 54 goes from 1st to 5th just like that. 21 to the lead. T-Berg makes contact with the 11. And 54 goes around.
54 goes around.
54 and the 1 goes around. Will it cause a call? Oh my gosh. And the 54 pushes 98 up into the track, and there is a huge wreck on turn number 1. Multiple cars involved. And that's going to bring out a caution. That changes the entire game.
Oh, man, that sucks to see, dude. 4 wide for the lead there. That was exciting. But obviously resulted in that. So.
And the 11 car, based on the comments, seems to may have been the cause of that wreck. I don't want to be an accuser or nothing like that.
But just get a little bit of insight there.
It's
tough
tough
to see how this shuffles out, man. Cars with damage, cars caught up in incidents. We were in the middle of a pit cycle. Who's a lap down? Who's not? Who's in the lead? Who stayed out? I mean, it's not having the ticker that was promised by Heat 5 is really making it difficult to keep up with this. So we'll have to see where they end up coming.
I would most
green flag.
Yeah, I would most definitely enjoy a ticker at this point. But
so we are looking at 11, 21, 7, 1, 6, and then 8 in your top 6. The 9 car is sitting there in 7th. So I wonder if he's going to try and take advantage of this caution coming out and seeing if he can't get back up towards the front.
And Matt, I just got words. The 54 is a lap down. He might have gotten his lap back after that caution, but he was not racing for the lead. He was trying to stay on the lead lap.
See, in that situation, you've got to get out of the way of the leaders, man. That's to see.
And the 21 takes the lead. And these guys are scrapping, trying to get position. The 11 is in trouble. Multiple cars involved again. I see the 18 involved. The 90 of TCW, he can't catch a break today. And so far, we're still green.
Still green after that. Wow.
Surprisingly, no caution after all that craziness.
Looks like the 19 of Ski Mask was affected. 36 of T-Berg affected, which, I mean, he's had a really strong run today. You hate to see that.
And look who's in the lead now. Citrus on Twitch, able to scoot on by through all the chaos, make his way back up to the front.
Wow, he started in 7th. That just shows how crazy these restarts have been.
And we have 9 laps remaining, 8 to go at the line. Citrus on Twitch leads the field, followed by his Hendrick teammate. And the 7 of Rich Gang. 3rd place, another Hendrick teammate of Don't Want None. And I'm sure as the captain, Matt, you got to be sitting pretty at the moment. 1, 2, 3 Hendrick. With 8 laps to go now. I mean, what do you think your guys are thinking at the moment? Are your teammates racing for the win, or are you just going to be content with 2nd and 3rd? They're going to try to give the 9 car a run for his money.
No one as competitive as these guys are. They are not going to sit there and be content. I think if they get to them, they're going to race them. And one guy we haven't talked a whole lot about today, Dover, another Hendrick car sitting there in 5th. So looking at a 1, 2, 3, 5 Hendrick running here. I try not to be biased, but I can't say I'm not excited about that. So.
Yeah, I can't blame you. And Nimco Wood, he's been strong all day, now sitting back in the 4th spot. After all that craziness, he was able to stay up in the front. But a couple other players we haven't talked a whole lot about. And guys like Dallas Stars, in the 8th spot at the moment. And it looks like a car's in the wall. See if we can, and that's the 99 of Keith, and collects multiple individuals. Will that bring out a caution?
It doesn't seem so. We're still green. That's one of the things we're going to have to keep in mind tomorrow. Just because you get caught in the right, doesn't mean a caution's coming. We just got to go.
Absolutely. Just because a couple cars get in the wall does not guarantee a caution. This has been an insane Stage 3. A lot of wrecks, but not a lot of cautions.
We want to see long green flag runs, but we prefer it to be just a little cleaner. But the cars are starting to spread out a little bit, so hopefully we avoid any more incidents from here to the finish.
Citrus on Twitch leads his teammate. Don't want none in the second position, and the 1 car is catching up with lap traffic ahead. 5 to go, 4 to go at the line. And the 18 of Y'all Ain't Ready, who was just involved in an accident that did not bring out a caution. We'll see what he does here, if he will end up holding up these guys at all. Definitely have to make some guys change their lineup a little bit. But the 1 car trying to make something happen on the outside. 4 to go. The 9 and the 1, 1-2. Followed by Rich Gang in 3rd and Nimco in 4th. And here comes the 1 trying to make a move. Tries to get his nose under the 9. He might be able to get it here. Forces the 9 up the racetrack. If he can keep it steady, he will come out with the lead. But the 9's not going to go away. And he puts his teammate up near the wall. This is just good racing, even if you're teammates. And the 9 is getting abused by the 1 at the moment. That's just good, hard racing.
More contact, yeah. I mean, he's saying, hey, look, you got yours last week. I'm getting mine this week. He's not giving him any kind of I forgot what I was going to say there.
He's not giving him any leeway. Any leeway.
Yeah, no leeway. Just because you're my teammate doesn't mean I'm not going to move you. So, interesting to see if the 9 gets back to the 1, what'll happen, especially since the 7 of Rich Gang and the 21 of Nimco Wood are closing in since they're getting so racy here.
2 laps to go at the line. Don't Want None in 1st. Citrus on Twitch in the 2nd spot. Followed by Rich Gang and Nimco now taking the 3rd spot away from the 1. And Nimco trying to get some redemption. Does he have enough time to make a move? Or does the 9 have enough time to make a move? And the 11...
It'll be interesting to see the 11 gets out of the way. Very, very nice to see there.
A little worried for him at the moment, but 1 lap to go. White flag, here we go. The 9 car's right there. Citrus on Twitch trying to make a move on his teammate. Don't Want None. Don't Want None. Just got to run a smooth lap here. He'll win this race. Runs up a little high.
Ooh, the 9's getting there. It's going to be close.
And the 9 law looks, he is right on the bumper of the 1. He's going to have to really sail it in to have a chance. And the 1 just has to take his time going around turns 3 and 4. And the 1 car of Don't Want None is going to be your champion at the Echo Park 125 at Atlanta.
Definitely an awesome race to finish there. Nimco Wood clears the 7, takes 3rd spot. We got Rich Gang, Evo there in 4th and 5th, I believe. If I can get back to him. Is the 8 of Dover. So
solid top 5 performances for the Hendrick squad. Don't Want None in 1st, Citrus on Twitch in 2nd, and Nimco Wood finishing in that 3rd spot. As far as Atlanta races go, wouldn't say it was exactly clean all the way through, but there wasn't a lot of cautions and a great finish here at Atlanta. Can't ask for much better than that.
Yeah, definitely some contact that I thought would have definitely thrown some cautions there, but I mean that's one thing you want to avoid is having a caution-filled race. You want to go green, but it really sucks for those guys that got caught up in those incidents. The 36 of T-Bird was strong all day long, and looked like he caught up in a late incident there. No yellow flag flies, and it winds up hurting him. So it's definitely tough to see for him and his team.
Absolutely, Matt. You had already mentioned with the recap. Don't Want None takes the checkered flag, his first win of the year. Citrus on Twitch finishing 2nd, Nimco Wood 3rd, Rich Gang in 4th, and Bend over in that 5th spot. Good day for Hendrick all the way around. If you're the 9 car, you're probably a little frustrated you had that one in the back. And it looks like we're still waiting on the results outside the top 5.
Looks like the top 10. We have Don't Want None, Citrus on Twitch, Nimco Wood, Rich Gang Evo, Dover, Dallas Stars. T-Berg actually recovered and finishes 7th. Code Dillon making his season debut in 8th. I know he wasn't able to make it last week. The 54 of Soaps, 9th, and 10th, Ski Mask.
And a good bounce back for Ski Mask. Had some issues at Daytona, able to get a top 10, get some points, but only 8 cars finished on the lead lap. And a couple of guys that stand out to me, a guy like Dallas Stars, some guys who had issues last week, able to bounce back this week, getting a solid finishing position. But story of the day, Hendrick Motorsports, your team, very solid outing through and through, taking positions 1, 2, 4, and 5. Can't be too mad about that, Matt.
Definitely not. And look at the situation to where the 9 and the 7 coming down pit road with, Citrus and Rich Gang, getting caught up in that incident. You had to expect, and at that time, they were probably freaking out a little bit, like, man, we've been running up front. We just got cut up there. So that late caution comes out, and they're able to take advantage of that opportunity and get solid finishes. But I think the guy that stood out to me most today, he finished 7th, but definitely I think had a top 5 car, if not better, was T-Berg, making his season debut in the Xfinity Series, being a new signee, moving up from the Truck Series. I think he's shown that Jose did right by him and moving him up, and I expect to see great things from him for the remainder of the year.
All right, Matt, well, we're going to take a brief break as we get some of the top 3 into our party for a chat, so we'll be right back, so stand by. Can you suggest Citrus and Nimco for me? Actually, I have Nimco. Just suggest Citrus. I'm gonna get Don't Want None in here.
All right, I suggested Citrus and was it Don't Want None?
Yep, I invited Don't Want None, and we welcome you back in. We're just waiting for Don't Want None to join our party.
And need Nimco as well, right?
And Nimco, was it Don't Want None last week? Had issues getting back into the party last week?
Yeah, he once the race finished, he hopped up. Oh, nope, there he is.
There he is.
Around this time.
And we welcome in the race winner, Don't Want None 3, winning a very close race here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. So we welcome in Don't Want None. So, man, just talk us through those last 5 laps. You're surrounded by teammates. What was your mindset? Obviously, it sounded like you wanted to win the race, and exactly what you did. But take us through those last few laps.
Well, I was content with riding, but what's his name? The 9 car, he got a little tight, I guess, coming off the turns, and that's where I was gaining on him. I was just going to wait till the last lap, but once I seen him struggling, I just went ahead and tried to take it, just in case the 21 car made it up there.
Yeah, there seemed to be...
try to drive away.
Right, and there seemed to be a little bit of contact as you took the lead. What happened there? I know it was kind of more going into turn 1, but you think there'll be any hard feelings moving forward?
I actually didn't see any contact. I know that on the front stretch we touched, but I didn't really feel anything different.
Right. Once you got on the inside, you're able to make that pass. But how does it feel to get that first win out of the way early in the season?
Man, it feels good. A lot of pressure's off now. We can just go have fun.
Absolutely, just go and have fun. So, but next week we go to Darlington. You got any thoughts going to Darlington?
Yeah, I struggle there. So, good thing go ahead and get the victory out of the way.
Right on. All right. Well, Don't Want None 3. Appreciate you taking your time to talk to us, and congrats again on winning at Atlanta. I'm sure, like you said, big monkey off the back early on, but thanks for coming in and talking to us.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
All right. And just want to take another brief moment here to invite second place. And Matt, I know these are all your guys. I mean, surely you guys can have a chat. I'm sure it's just hard racing between teammates, nothing more than that. But I mean, 1, 2, 4, and 5. I mean, that's a great overall performance. It seemed like the strategy paid off as we welcome in Citrus on Twitch, the winner of the Daytona 250 or 125 last week, coming in to Atlanta. Had an up and down race, able to work his way back up through the field to contend for a win. But Citrus, why don't you take us through those last few laps? What happened in your opinion?
I mean, I'm gonna rewind back to when the caution came out, because that was the breaking point of my whole race. Because I knew I was not gonna have a chance to be top 3 at all, just because of the incident I had. Getting on pit road was like my weakness. I mean, I would have did it the last time, but the 20 car just drilled me. But after the restart, I saw I was starting 7th, got to 5th, the 6th lit up in the middle of the corner, went underneath him, took the 7 to 3, and then before I knew it, I was back out front. So before the last couple laps were going, I was pulling away ever so slightly, and then the car just got tight for some reason. I loosened it up and everything, and it just got tight. The one got to me, took advantage of it, and he won the race. I was second.
Yeah, that's one of the things with Atlanta, man. The track, it seems to start loose, and then the car tightens up as the run goes on. So it's definitely kind of hard to gauge exactly how loose to make the car. But so what was going through your mind knowing just at that instance where you had the incident trying to get on pit road with, you and the 7 of Rich gang, you guys got involved in the incident. What's going through your mind then? And then how eager were you to get back up front once you had the opportunity and that caution came out? How much were you pushing it to try and get back up front?
Well, the incident with me and Rich Gang, I was like upset and pissed because I knew that I screwed him over and I screwed myself over out of getting the win. It was simple as that. And then the caution came out, which kind of reset everything. I think we had like half the field a lap down by then. And I saw he was starting either 3rd or 4th, wherever he was starting. I was starting 7th, and I'm like, all right, I've had the best car. I'm getting to the lead, and I'm going to try to drive away. And that wasn't the case. So,
well, Citrus,
I'm happy we all had a reset, though.
Well, Citrus, I wanted to ask you, I mean, Hendrick has dominated the first couple of races. I mean, you guys finished 1st, 2nd, 4th, and 5th. Now, you guys are obviously in the same chat and you're talking to each other. Are you guys adapting the same strategy and improvising throughout, or is this just a case of where your team might just be the strongest?
I mean, we definitely have like a strategy advantage on the other teams, just because of the fact we're all in the same strategy and we all execute what we need to do. Like we had McLovin in there, pretty much crew chief, and the 4 of us, like, hey, we're doing this, this, and this. So I wouldn't say we are the best team out there, because I know Nemco's pretty strong. T-Bird came out of nowhere. I don't even know. He was on my ass for a couple laps, and then I let him go, and then he pitted. He surprised me a lot. I mean, there's a lot of guys who have the potential to be running up front with Hendrick. So I wouldn't say we're like the best team yet. I would ask me that maybe around like the middle of the season when we get there.
Right, but a good start nonetheless for not just yourself but the entire Hendrick organization. But congrats! I know you wanted to win, but I'm sure you'll be just fine with a 2nd place finish.
Yeah, it
forward.
happens.
And most likely, it's probably still in the lead going into Darlington next week. But thanks for joining us. And next, we're going to take another short break. Yeah, no problem, Citrus. And we're going to take another short break, bring in our 3rd place Nimco Wood, and then we'll conclude this broadcast. Talked to Don't Want None and Citrus on Twitch. Seemed like it was just a racing deal. No hard feelings between the two guys. I think Citrus seemed pretty happy for his guys. We welcome in Nimco Wood, 2187. Great finishing 3rd at Atlanta. I'm sure you wanted that P number 1, but up and down race. A lot of wrecks, but not a lot of cautions. Things kind of, you threw a wrench in some strategies, but just take us through that stage 3 and what were some things you had to overcome to get to position number 3?
Track position mostly. Throughout the race, a couple of times I got down a couple. I think twice I had to take a wave around, and one time I didn't even know if Rich Gang, I think it was going to pit. But yeah, I kind of just had to battle it out and drive through a mess. Then we broke away a little bit, and it was a little bit cleaner. Well, cleaner racing in the sense that there's not a lot of cars there, but yeah, just kind of hung out and hung on. There was a 4-car pack that broke away, and I finished third out of it.
Yeah, and Nemco, it seemed like you had one of the strongest cars in the field all day. I mean, obviously, some of the issues in stage 1 and 2 kind of set you back, but can you take us through, like, what does it take at Atlanta to kind of survive? Is it just pit road? You just have to survive pit road or the restarts? Take us through that.
No, well, pit road itself shouldn't be that much of a hazard. I know we had a couple incidents there tonight, but yeah, a lot of it I think is just keeping your car clean, honestly, and not putting yourself in a position where you got to drive and burn up tires. I like to sit behind packs, until the end like that. Like when I was sitting behind the front 3 for a while before I passed the 7. And just 3/4 throttle, and going to turn real easy and stuff. So at Atlanta, I really only focus on taking care of the car as much as possible.
All right, well, Nemco, congrats on the 3rd spot. Good start to your season, top 5s in both races, and heading to Darlington next week. But that's going to conclude this broadcast. But Matt, do you have any final thoughts on the racing so far that we've seen this season?
Yeah, I think with these tracks coming up, we're definitely going to kind of see, the cream of the crop rise. Definitely unfortunate for some guys that got caught in some of those cautions, and that weren't able to get the results that they definitely performed up to. But Darlington, man, you want to talk about a difficult track? You're looking at a lane and a half. It's going to be real interesting to see how guys handle themselves there. Patience is going to be huge at that track. That just the way that the car handles. I mean, that's going to be a tough track for sure. Whoever can figure out a way to master the Lady in Black is going to be definitely a driver to look for, to win the whole thing. I think that track is that difficult. So being able to manage, the traffic around you, being able to handle the track, I mean, that's going to be a tough one, man. That's a difficult track.
Yeah, hard to disagree with you on any of those points. But last question I'll ask you, I mean, what can we expect for tomorrow in the Cup race? These cars handle differently than the Xfinity. Xfinity seems to be more tight versus the Cup cars. But tomorrow, I mean, are we going to each race has been extremely different. Trucks it was a little more clean throughout, more cautions tonight, more beating and banging. What do we expect tomorrow?
I mean, with the Cup cars, like I said, it's really, I mean, from top to bottom, there's really not a huge gap in skill there. So it's going to be interesting to see who can, get up front and break away. I think there's going to be some pack racing to start, and then once pits come in or pit stops come in, I think the field's going to spread out. We'll kind of see who takes off from there. But I know with tomorrow being a longer race, longer stages, I don't think we're going to see the same situation where the 7 manages to stay out and not pit in stage 1 and 2 and lap everybody. I don't think we're going to have that same situation tomorrow just because the stages are so much longer. And I think fuel is anywhere from, 17, 18 per tank. And I think we're looking at, 30, 40 lap stages. So tomorrow, hopefully we'll see some more green flag racing. I mean, not that we didn't see a lot tonight, but just with less contact. And, I'm sure it'll be a good one.
All right, looking forward to tomorrow's action. You can catch me and Matt both racing tomorrow's event. It will be broadcasted on James McComb's YouTube channel. Be sure to follow White Knuckle Racing on Twitter and on Instagram. That's White Knuckle Racing RCN. But for Matt Montgomery, I'm Tim Wells, a.k.a. Turtle Wells 73. Appreciate you tuning in tonight's broadcast, but this has been a Turtle Wells broadcast for White Knuckle Racing.